Okay, hi, I'm Mike Desimone.
And I'm Jeff Jenssen, and
We're the World Wine Guys.
we write together as the World Wine
Guys.
Guys. And we're journalists in New York, based in New York, and we write for some of the major wine magazines in the United States. Currently, we're columnists for the Wine Enthusiast magazine.
And we are very pleased and very honored to have been here and traveled through this region, the Saragaucha of Brazil this week. And why don't you talk first about the wines?
I have to tell you, we were invited, and we're very honored to have been invited. One of the things that's really amazing to us is that some of the wines that we get in the American market from Brazil are good wines, but we really didn't see the quality that the Brazilians are really capable of. One of the things that I'm really amazed at is the sparkling wines, the spumante wines. We've talked about this before. It's really our opinion that this really could be the...
I actually think that, we both think, we've talked about this, that Brazil really could be the sparkling wine capital of the world.
Or the champagne of South America, if you will.
Making very, very good dry wines and very good sweet wines, which is very unusual for any one region to do. We've had some sparklers from Chile and from Argentina, and for the most part, they weren't anything to write home about, and we're very excited about the sparklers here.
And we've had some made in the Charmat method, some made in the method champenoise. They're both really good quality. If we could suggest anything, really concentrate on the method champenoise, because what that does is it gives a really beautiful elegance to the sparkling wines. The Charmat method is great for things like Moscato and the Proseccos, because what you're getting is a really young, fresh wine. And these wines are beautiful if I'm sitting on the beach up in Bahia or whatever. But when we're sitting down to the table with food, I prefer the wines that are more method champenoise.
Yeah, I would agree with that. Although I do really love the fresh, the very the sweet but still bright and acidic sparkling Moscatos are wonderful.
Are wonderful,
wines as
especially
well.
for dessert wines or as an aperitif.
And in terms of still wines, I think what we're finding, we might totally agree with this or disagree somewhat. I think what we like the best are the wines that are just lightly oaked, partially oaked, maybe oaked for, say, 3 months in secondary or tertiary used oak, that kind of thing. That the grapes, the flavor of the fruit is really coming through in a lot of the wines, even the wines that are strictly fermented in stainless steel. And some of the wines we had earlier in the week were a little bit over oaked and a little bit heavy handed.
I agree. I think one of the things that Brazil really has is that it has these really fabulous varieties of wine. You have Tannat, you have Touriga Nacional from Portugal, but everybody in the world is making Cabernet Sauvignon, Merlot, Chardonnay. And although Brazil's making really great wines from these varietals, they're European varietals. And I think what Brazil needs to concentrate on is the soul of Brazil, the feeling of the people. And one of the things that you have here is a European background. Obviously here in Valle de Vinhos, we have an Italian population.
It's like a trip to Tuscany.
It's almost
really
like being in Tuscany or Piemonte, where you have all these Italian names, Italian grapes, Italian food, Italian winemakers, fourth generation. And I think that what you're doing is really super. And the soul of Brazil is coming through. We've tasted a lot of wonderful wines, the Tannats, Touriga, so many different wines.
Well, I think to that point, I don't know that I would be in such a rush to have DO status. We had the wines in Pinta Bandeira, the IP, which were some very nice wines. And I think that sometimes going to DO status, people might think, well, if we have DO on the bottle, people will think more of it. They'll think it's a better wine. But I think it's sort of like a pair of handcuffs. Once you have that DO status, you're stuck growing only those grapes. And right now, they're the grapes that are working well here. But Brazil is a young country, and making fine wines is a very, very young thing here. So perhaps it would be better, instead of saying, well, we have a DO and we can only make these grapes, specializing in Merlot, maybe there should be a little bit more experimentation, and maybe the younger, this fourth generation from all the wine families, the younger people, will put a stop to that and travel more and get out of
and maybe
Brazil.
take some classes perhaps in Bordeaux or UC Davis or other parts of the world where you see what the rest of the world is doing, but then make your style definitively Brazilian. I mean, I think that what you're doing here is a fabulous thing. I'm so impressed with the level of wines.
Absolutely. Yeah.
So impressed with the cuisine. The people have been wonderful. We really appreciate your hospitality. I think what we're seeing is that you're a region that's budding on the verge of greatness. So keep up what you're doing. Do it well. Do it consistently, and we're happy to support Brazilian wines.
Yeah, and we look forward to drinking the wines here again, and we also
Yeah.
look forward to seeing a lot more of these wines in our market at home in the States, and also as we travel around the world.
And thank you so much for having us. We really appreciate it.